Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. That scenic tells you we're in New York. The road trip continues, and tonight it's game number 3 of the 4-game series from Citi Field. The St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Mets. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball. The clubhouse, the players, still talking about last night. What an outing by Michael Wacha.
How many times this year have the Cardinals celebrated in this fashion? I mean, winning last night was almost like a playoff win. Watch Molina. I mean, this hug, folks, is genuine with Michael Wacha, the winner last night, a shutout, winning 5-0. Now Martinez knows what it's like, and so does Adam Wainwright. The one guy standing in the way of that momentum, however, is Jacob deGrom, and he is a load to handle, Danny.
Last 6 starts, 6-0, 1.53 ERA, and going deep in his recent starts. The Cardinals look to make it 3 in a row on this road trip against the Mets. Baseball coming up. Sometimes 4 can be a magic number in the game of baseball, and that was the case last night. Matt Carpenter with a 4-hit night. The St. Louis Cardinals have won 4 straight against the New York Mets. And how about Michael Wacha, the talk of the town? Wacha won his 4th straight decision. A complete game shutout, first ever in his career. Does it carry over to Mike Leake tonight? We're about to find out. Leake against Jacob deGrom, the St. Louis Cardinals, New York Mets. And baseball is coming up. New York Mets and his Hyundai pitch arsenal. The first pitch to Matt Carpenter is a strike, and we're underway here in game number 3.
One thing Matt Carpenter did that we haven't seen much of, he hit the first pitch 3 out of 5 at bats last night to get his 4 hits.
Breaking ball, 0-2, so 5 plate appearances, and Carpenter saw just a total of 8 pitches for a guy that normally goes very deep into counts.
That's why he walks so much. Yeah, right.
And the 0-2 pitch, fouled back in a good cut. So the Cardinals get deGrom tonight, 6-0 in his last 6 starts. Only other pitcher to win 6 or more straight this year, Clayton Kershaw, his last 8. Jason Vargas, his last 7.
We talked about it last night, Dan, the last time and only time that the Cardinals have faced deGrom this year. They had 4 solo home runs in St. Louis and never had the lead in the game.
And twice went back-to-back.
Yeah, in the 3rd and 4th innings.
It's another 0-2 pitch. deGrom has allowed 18 home runs this year, 13 of which, though, have been only solo shots. So in a way, you can live with that.
Limit the damage, yes.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. He's at first base tonight. Foul back again. It's no surprise Carpenter thrives in this leadoff spot, which started back on June 7th. And he's turned into the one guy you look at to get on base. He's been one of the most productive leadoff hitters in baseball in that time frame. 3 for 12 in his career against this right-hander.
So far, typical feisty at bat by Carpenter. Lays off the 2 breaking balls in the dirt and fouls off the fastball.
Cardinals trying to go to the 500 mark for the first time in more than 6 weeks. And it's another foul ball. Last time they were at 500 was all the way back on June 2nd. They were 26 and 26. So that's 41 games so far. They've been under that 500 mark. Longest stretch under that man, Mike Matheny. Carpenter, Pham, and Fowler in this lineup. The Jerko, Molina, DeYoung, Wong, Sierra, and Leake. The 2-2. What an at-bat here to start this game. Matt Carpenter has an 8-game hitting streak on the line tonight. And he's been on base 21 straight. More pitches in this one at bat than in the 5 combined last night. This is something, huh?
Yeah, it is.
10 pitch at bat and counting.
He became the first Cardinal to reach the 400 walks the quickest.
Two. Foul back. It's now up to 11 pitches.
The one thing that makes DeGrom so tough is that extension. The media guy says he's 6'4". He looks like he's 6'6" to me, but real long arms. Seems like sometimes he's releasing that ball almost illegally. Obviously, that's not the case. But most hitters don't like to face guys with long arms.
He's been an all-star, just turned 29. The 2-2 pitch.
Might get the bullpen up after a couple of pitches.
Jacob deGrom came into this ballgame averaging 15.6 pitches per inning. And already 13 pitches, the first man that he's facing in this game. And Carpenter hits a high fly ball out to deep right. Bruce is back on the track and makes the catch. Thirteen pitch at bat to start the night for Carpenter. It's a time that you make it out. You do get the handshakes and a pat on the back. Here's Tommy Pham. Stole his 13th base last night. Went 2 for 3 game 1 on Monday.
Tommy Pham brought up on May 5th from Memphis, so he missed about the first 5 weeks of the season.
Here's a 1-0.
And because of that, it's kind of a disturbing statistic. He leads the Cardinals with 13 multi-RBI games. And for a guy who missed 5 weeks, it's very unusual and a bit disturbing.
Up the middle, Reyes to his left, and he makes the play. And the defense behind deGrom tonight, presented by Dobbs as we go around the horn. Cespedes, Conforto and Bruce in the outfield. Flores, Reyes, Cabrera, and Duda on the infield. And Travis d'Arnaud started in game 1 and gets the start here in game 3.
I think the Mets had the worst game from a defensive standpoint for their infielders that they've had in some time. I mean, last night, no catch was clean.
No.
Rattling around in their gloves, a couple of errors, but more importantly, they just not fluid.
And a total of 3 errors, and then you go back, you look at your scorecard, and the Cardinals, very clean game.
Yeah.
No switches, no relievers. Every starter finished the game. Each had a hit. Don't see that very often.
Carpenter had 4 hits, and the rest of the lineup had 1 apiece.
The 2-0. Dexter Fowler tied for the team lead with 14 home runs. The Cardinals have 3 in their lineup with 14 home runs. Nobody at 15.
He might be hitting right here. He has hit 3-0 before this year.
And he draws the 2-out walk. The 13 pitch at bat, and now up to 20 pitches here in the inning for Jacob deGrom. The batter will be Jed Jerko.
It's common for leadoff hitters to say, well, I got his pitch count up this year. I can't stand that particular saying.
I've noticed.
Because if a guy makes an out, well, the pitcher won the battle. I'm kind of tepid with that comment, but you hear a lot of young players say, boy, I got his pitch count up. So what? When he's thrown too many pitches, they bring in somebody else.
Makes sense. He's out of gas, go to the bullpen.
Yeah.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. Jed Jerko the batter. Fastball and a strike. Think about where this team has come from to get back to 500. Go back to opening day. Johnny Peralta, third base. Aledmus Diaz at shortstop. Colton Wong has missed considerable time. He's at second. Carpenter has been there every day for the most part at first. Same with Molina. But the corner outfield spots have changed. It's a long, long year.
A real revelation, Paul DeYoung coming up on June 15th, and everybody in St. Louis and its surrounding area and perhaps adjoining states know what DeYoung has done.
Well, the Mets, their fan base, you know they do. It's been incredible. Had another extra base hit last night. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Jerko hits it out of play. Jed was 1 for 4 in game 2. Had a stolen base. He's second on the team now in steals with 6. Leads the club in hits and RBIs. And in his last start, Jed Jerko took him deep. That was the "This One's for You" telecast that we had to the troops. 4 solo home runs given up.
You could see where d'Arnaud, the catcher, was setting up off the plate away. I think he wanted deGrom to throw that fastball with the count 1-2. See how far outside he is? When a catcher's that far outside and has to reach back to his left, that means it's not a good pitch, generally speaking. Jerko just missed it.
With short lead at first, and the 0-2 pitch again. Struck him out. First strikeout in this game. Cardinals strand a runner, and we head to the bottom of the first. Mike Leake gets the call tonight. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Come to the ballpark, grab a slice, and take in some Major League Baseball. Mike Leake gets the call tonight for St. Louis. Up and down year for Mike. Got off to the sensational start. One point was 5-2 with a 1.91 ERA. That was in his first 9 starts. His last 9 starts, 1-5 with an ERA near 5. On the year, a total of 6-7, his record. Mike Conforto is at the plate.
Well, with Mike, I mean, his strikeouts are down, his walks are up, but his fly balls are down and his ground balls are up. So one of the subtle keys to this game, can he induce ground balls out of the Med hitters?
Fair or foul, the opposition is connected on 82% of their swings. 6th highest in the major leagues. The key is, though, that ground balls.
And the funny thing is, the Mets, one of the most profound offenses that lift the ball in the major leagues. 2nd in home runs in the National League. This guy is a good looking hitter right here, Michael Conforto.
And it's popped up, giving chase. Jed Jerko with Molina. Jerko near his own dugout makes the catch. Cabrera, the switch hitter, digs in. Then Jay Bruce, Cespedes, Duda, Flores, Reyes, Darno, and DeGrom.
Bit of a change by Terry Collins. Jay Bruce moving from that 4-hole to 3-hole, and Cespedes going from 3 to 4 tonight. Duda moving up a spot.
And there's ball 1. Cabrera hit .280 last year, year 1 of a 2-year contract. Spent 8 years with Cleveland, was with Tampa Bay and Washington. That's popped up and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets come in 41-50. The contest tonight, so 9 games below the 500 mark. Cubs have not lost since the All-Star break. They win again today. Their 6th straight win. 8-2 is the final. Hit 3 home runs, and now Milwaukee is up by 2 games. There's a ground ball and a base hit. The Brewers playing at Pittsburgh tonight. Zach Davies against Garrett Cole. The Cardinals defense with Pham, Fowler, Sierra in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate.
You know, Cabrera was actually fooled on that pitch from Mike Leake. Watch how he bails out. The body is out, but the bat's back and still enough to hit it hard up the middle.
Point of emphasis for the Cardinals this year as you get a look at Jay Bruce. Mike Matheny talked about it. We have to give, in talking about his pitchers, Yadier Molina a better chance to throw out base stealers. We have to vary our speeds to the plate. One of those guys that's really improved in that regard is Mike Leake. Last year, career high 16 steals against him. This year, only 3 steals. Fowler going back. Makes the catch. Runner tagging. That's Cabrera to second. And in there safely.
Good base running by a good base runner. Cabrera realizing But that ball, by the reaction of Dexter Fowler, going back on the ball, he had it comfortably. And watch, a couple of steps. Now he's going to make that catch. Why not tag up? Get the scoring position by good base running. Nice play. Derek Fowler does not have a strong arm. Plus, he is bothered somewhat by straining that arm earlier in the season on a dive. Ball hit the left center.
Here's Cespedes, and he looks at a strike. Real key in this series was the 9th inning of Game 1. And Cespedes up with a 3-ball no-strike count against Brett Cecil.
Double play ball, 6-4-3 to end the ball game on a 3-0 count. At the time, Cespedes represented the tying run.
Just 2 for 21, 5 games this year against the Cardinals. This has been the major point of emphasis in the struggles for the Mets here recently. Runners in scoring position, hitless in their last 26 at bats, 0 for 18 in these spots in this series.
Wow. That's a wow. A bad wow for the Mets.
The 2-1 pitch. Last 15 games for the Mets left fielder. He's batting 190. Duda, who's on deck, has had very good numbers against Mike Leake. Keep that in mind. Cespedes fouls it back, and there's a full count. Lucas Duda is 6 for 8 with a pair of home runs against Mike Leake. So if you're thinking he's trying to pitch around Cespedes, you might think differently about it with those numbers. 3-2 pitch. And it's out of play.
It's one of the toughest pitches to hit in baseball, a backup slider. What happens, a pitcher gets under that pitch. It's designed to go away from the hitter. He's a right-hander, and it backs up and stays over the inside part of the plate. It's a tough pitch to read and hit.
Ground ball, and it's past to Young into left. Pham's throw to the plate is offline. Good throw, might have gotten him. Just a little bit offline, and it's 1-0 New York.
I think you're right, Dan. On a good throw, that ball went right into the ground from Tommy Pham, but good base running by Cabrera to get to second base on the fly ball out. Then that ball hit very sharply through the hole on the left side. Pham did have a shot, but choked it a bit. Mike Leake backing up the play ran into Cabrera, or Cabrera ran into Leake, I guess.
Here's Duda, and ball 1. $16 home runs, number 16 in Game 1 of this series. In the air, left center. That ball will get down. Cespedes racing to third. He'll score. Duda to second base with an RBI double, and it's 2-0 New York.
And Duda continues his hot hitting against Mike Leake. Mike got the 2 outs, but 2 hits, one by Cespedes and one by Duda, gave the Mets 2 runs. Finds a gap in left center. Cespedes has been criticized by the scribes here in New York for not running hard a lot of times. Let it be said that he showed there that he can run. So on ground balls to infielders later in the game, we may check and see him going around from first to home and see how hard he runs to first base. It's a disturbing pattern among major league hitters, is not running the ball out.
Wilmer Flores at the plate, hitting .278, falls behind 0-2. It's sharply up the middle. Duda will score after he's tiptoeing around third. 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs to bring in 3.
Derek Lilliquist wants to talk. Now, Mike Leake is the type of guy who cannot live in the fat part of the plate. That's a fat slider right there. And he gets by Paul DeYoung at shortstop, and Duda, not a fast runner, scores easily.
Prior to tonight, all games combined, Mike Leake had allowed just 4 first-inning runs and already 3 here tonight.
First time the Mets have scored, by the way, since the 6th inning of Game 1. Shutout last night, a brilliant shutout by Michael Wacha.
The first shutout of his pro career. Jose Reyes looks at ball 1. Four hits, 3 runs scored in this first inning for the Mets.
Dan, we talked about the keys of the game, that the Mets are a fly ball hitting team, and they are generally, but 3 of the 4 hits in this inning have been on the ground.
Right.
Cabrera, Cespedes, and Flores.
Two and 1. The top of the first, Jacob deGrom with 25 pitches, now 27 for Mike Leake. The 2-1 is lined in and out of the glove of Carpenter. Nobody at the bag at first.
Oh, you add insult to injury by not getting over there. Mike Leake freezing right there, and Matt Carpenter jumping for the ball and has no one to which to throw or to whom to throw.
First and second, and the 8th place hitter, Travis d'Arnaud. And strike 1. Well, if you're Mike Leake, kind of inning, get that final out and try to regroup. It's 5 first inning base hits. Ground ball left side to Jerko. Force play at second. Mets strand 2, but a big inning as they pick up 3 on those 5 hits. Yadier Molina will lead it off when we come back. Paul DeYoung, a Mets killer. He's coming up as well. Mets on top early. #1 mobile app for live Cardinals baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Home screen icons, app features, as well as game day. Download MLB.com at bat today. Top of the second, 3-0 our score. Ground ball that is hit to short. Reyes up with it, throws a strike to Duda, which has been a little bit of an issue in this series with him on plays that he's got plenty of time. He's had those low throws over to Duda for whatever reason.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly. That game last night really showed some warts in the Mets infield. Of course, the Cardinals have had similar warts this year in their infield.
Paul DeYoung on the first pitch, fouls it back.
Certain pitchers, when they get ground balls like that, you can almost tell off the bat whether it's going to be in a hole or not. And they'll think to themselves, that's an out. Then when they bobble it or mishandle it or something like that, that's what happened to the Mets last night throughout the 9 innings.
Kubota power stats with DeYoung, the highest OPS, all-time rookies, Cardinals history. What a list. Johnny Mize, John Jay on that list. Paul DeYoung is 4th.
A lot of Johns on that list.
Good point. Here's the 0-2. Homered in his first 4 games against the Mets. Last Cardinal to have 4 more home runs against any opponent, whether you're a rookie or a veteran. Will Clark back in 2000. He had 5 home runs against the Braves. Did that in 19 at-bats. Cardinals went out to get Will Clark, who was in the final year of his contract with Baltimore. Mark McGwire was hurt in the year of 2000. And Walt Jocketty in that front office actually wanted to bring Will Clark back in 2001, but he said, I've had enough, and he retired.
I want to go duck hunting.
Yep. What a player.
Yes, he was. Some guys induce foul balls, and Jacob deGrom is one of them. I mean, you can't center the ball against him. He's got that little hop at the end, little extra break. Now, a guy like Mike Leake doesn't have that. So you're dealing with 2 completely different type pitchers this evening, both right-handers, but very different.
DeYoung with a high fly ball. Shallow left, backing up Reyes. Cespedes wants it, and he's got it. 2 away here in the top of the second. He's a hard thrower. Rocket mortgage by Quicken Loans, and the fastball velocity, so that plays into what you're talking about.
Yeah.
At 90.2, you're not going to be able to get away with being over the middle of the plate.
And players call it that little extra getty up. That often will call the many foul balls that we've seen tonight already through the first 6 hitters. Of course, Carpenter had enough for a whole team.
13 pitch at bat to start. Many of those foul pitches.
Yeah.
So 2 outs and nobody on. The batter is Colton Wong, and the 0-1 pitch. Wong hits it sharply to first, and it's gloved by Duda. Steps on the bag. And the Cardinals go in order. A 9-pitch inning for Jacob deGrom. 98 miles an hour by starter Michael Wacha. Terrific night, went the distance. More on that. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Wacha capped off his first career complete game and shutout with a strikeout of Jay Bruce. Mike Matheny told me afterwards that was Wacha's last batter. Wacha hasn't been going very deep into games this season, but he told me he took a more aggressive approach last night. He told me, I decided just to go out and attack guys, get strike one and work off of that. He told me he probably should have used that approach earlier in the season. He said, when I was struggling, I was getting behind a lot of 2-0, 3-1 counts. That gives the hitter the advantage where they feel more comfortable. Doesn't usually go well for the pitcher. Wacha had it going last night, Dan, and it was sure fun to watch.
It was the line out of DeGrom, the line on Michael Wacha. 3 hits, 9 shutout innings. Last time he threw 9 innings in a game, he was in college, member of Texas A&M against Kansas. There's a ground ball and a base hit. Another ground ball, but a base hit finds a hole. It was interesting. Ron Darling had the chance to visit with him, who works on MLB Network and Mets broadcast. He said that first one that you get, that first complete game, is something as a pitcher you never ever forget. It's as good as feeling as a pitcher you can have, that very first complete game. Yadi's
if it's a winner.
Yeah.
Not all complete games are winners.
Was
Especially
Yadi's
if you pitch 8 innings. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, Yadi, 61 now complete games that he's caught. 14th different Cardinal that he's been behind the plate for. Tim, in your career, you caught 418 complete games from 40 different pitchers.
Well, and you really have nothing to, I mean, I wouldn't say you have nothing to do with it. Carlton Fisk leads that list. He had 489 complete games with the Red Sox and White Sox. But more than anything else, Dan, I think it shows you how the game has changed. Yadier Molina's in his 18th year and only has 61 complete games caught. I mean, that is mind-blowing. 50 years ago, a different time.
Oh, boy. Throwing to right. The mix-up at second base.
That's where that shift befuddled a young shortstop. Colton Wong was too far on the right side of the infield, so he can't cover. And when Jerko turned around, all Jerko was doing was throwing to the bag. But see how DeYoung is closer to the bag and had a slight mental lapse. He wasn't there. That ball's a double play ball. As you can see, with Wong going over, Wong has no business going there. He shouldn't be around second base. Is a puzzlement.
Now Jay Bruce.
By Wong being there, his going to the bag, Jerko thought Wong was covering.
No question.
And it was actually DeYoung who was supposed to cover all the way.
And now trouble for Leake, the 1-0. Ground ball, base hit. Run scores to make it 4-0 New York. Well, when Jacob deGrom gets at least 3 runs of support, he's 9-1 this year, now with a 4-run lead.
Yeah, this is a tough guy as a pitcher to give a lead of any kind. Another ground ball gets through. The Cardinals should be sitting in the dugout, not still out on the field. There's still only 1 out.
Here's Cespedes. 2-out RBI base hit. Snapped the string of 1 for 27 now with runners in scoring position. Had been 0 for 26. RBI for Bruce, number 63. He's had a very good year. That's well hit into left, and it is off the base of the wall. 1 run is in. Bruce is held up at third. Cespedes trotting into second base. 5-0 Mets.
Middle of the plate again. Cespedes hammers it to the base of the wall and left, and the Mets score another run.
Runners at second and third. Intentional walk, and I think Cespedes, something's not quite right with him.
We talked about Terry Collins going all the way to second base. He's had leg problems this year, and we talked about legs and running hard. Sometimes if you don't run hard very often, and then when you have to run hard, something happens. And the time he ran hard was scoring from first base in the first inning. We mentioned that he doesn't run hard all the time. He's been criticized by New York fans and the media up here for that, and he should be.
Bases loaded after the intentional walk of Duda. After his double in the first, he's now 7 for 9 against Lee. And Flores digs in. He has an RBI single back in the first. Nothing our score. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Flores, the owner of 3 grand slams. John Brebbia getting loose in the Cardinals pen. The 2-1. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the good news about the Cardinals bullpen is that everybody is rested. The bad news is that they're up in the second inning.
Yep. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, that's 1-1 in the third. Keep an eye on that score.
How about Pittsburgh only a half game behind the Cardinals now?
Makes it fun. Could be a lot of fun in the Central.
Yeah. There's certainly a congested division right now with the Cubs winning again today.
2-2 in the air. Shallow right. Sierra with the catch. And a strike to the plate.
Good throw, even though it was an in-between hop by Sierra, but he got rid of the ball quickly. The one thing you don't do is you want to toy with that runner at third base. Those guys can take off on you, and Magnaris made a good play. Got rid of the ball quickly.
Jose Reyes. Base hit off the glove of Carpenter with a line drive his first time up. Ball 1. Evens it up, 1 ball and 1 strike. David Rackley is the home plate umpire. Joe West down at first. He's your crew chief. Alfonso Marquez at second. Chad Fairchild is at third. Outside corner, 1-2. breaking ball, and it's pulled foul. Tim, for both these teams, you think about tonight, tomorrow, what happens in the weekend, then you really get to business. Are you a buyer, seller? Are you tinkering with the lineup? Short term, long term, pitching staff, relievers. But that is the case with both these franchises right now.
I think the Mets less so, because they're in a division where they've got a runaway team, the Nationals, in first place.
Agreed.
Yeah, you know, teams tease themselves too. I mean, you tease, you win a few in a row, 5 or 6. Who knows about the Cubs? Cubs have already made a big deal acquiring the left-hander from the White Sox, Quintana. He pitches Friday.
Reyes a base hit into center. Cespedes being waved in. He will score, and it's all Mets in this game. It's now 7-0.
You know, you look back on that play, the good play by Jerko, it may not have been a double play. I mean, Cabrera runs well enough to, it may not have been a double play, but it could have been if DeYoung makes the play. But Wong had no business near second base. It did nothing but confuse Jerko. And in the next inning, before the next inning starts, we'll try to illustrate that and show you what we mean by that.
Travis d'Arnaud may not get the double play, but you at least get an out.
You get one out, right?
Changes the complexion of the inning.
Exactly.
Runners at first and second, and that's a base hit out to left. We talk about how the Cardinals and their pitchers can hit. Guys like Wainwright, Mike Leake come to mind, but Jacob deGrom is another one of those. He's a very good hitting pitcher.
Excellent.
Came in batting .279, highest batting average for any pitcher this year.
Here it is, the second inning, and every Met but deGrom has had at least one hit.
And he's up for the second time in this inning. Little chopper hit to the right side. Carpenter back to the bag, and Wong makes the play. Mets strand the bases loaded, but they pick up 4 more. After 2, it's 7-0 New York.
You have a man on first, and look where Wong is playing. Way off the bag, playing Cabrera properly to pull. Well, Cabrera hits it the other way, and by the time de Jong gets to the bag, Wong has been filtering in right there, and understandably, Jed Jerko thinks Wong is going to make the play when it's de Jong's play. So there was confusion in the Cardinal infield, and it cost them big time.
Magneuris Sierra leads it off. 7-0 our score. And he looks at a ball high. Hitting .386 on the year. No home runs, and he's driven in 3. Well, the Mets came in with their struggles. Runners in scoring position. Not tonight. 6 for 9. .3-0.
If you're Sierra, you take 2 pitches. Club's trailing by 7 runs. Trying to get some animation on the bases.
3-1. Three and 2. And Sierra hits a little flare out to shallow left, and it drops in front of Cespedes.
I think if I'm Terry Collins, I get him out of there. If he can't catch that ball had a lot of hang time. Got to make that play, don't you?
Yep.
I think.
Here's Mike Leake showing bunt. And bunts it foul. Well, I'd say this, Tim. I mean, you're up 7-0. If indeed he is hurt or has issues with his legs, you got a 7-run lead. The reason you'd keep him in a game and deal with a play like that is because of his bat.
Right.
But you're up 7, so now defense at a premium.
Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. Better explanation than my paltry attempt.
No. I was with you the whole way, partner.
I know you were. You just kind of came in and cleaned it up.
I'm the mop-up guy, you know. I come in when runners are on.
Don't give me that.
Here's the 0-2. And a ground ball, base hit. And Sierra stops at second base. A reminder that tonight's game is brought to you by, on Fox Sports Midwest, your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers.
You're right. I mean, you've got your best pitcher out there. You support your best pitcher with the best defense, especially with the 7-run lead. Now, tie ball game, you can tolerate that kind of attempt by Cespedes, but not with a 7-run lead.
So 2 runners on, nobody out, and it brings in Carpenter at a 13-pitch at bat to start this game. Runners at first and second, and there's ball 1.
Were you doing the game that time in Houston when the Cardinals were behind by 11? Was that in the Astrodome?
I'm thinking the game in Cincinnati.
Oh, the game in Cincinnati. What happened there?
Late. It was the greatest comeback statistically in the history of the Cardinals, and I cannot exactly remember how far they were down, but John Mabry had a dramatic home run.
Is that when Mabes hit for the cycle?
That was not that game. He did that in Colorado. But Mabry had that home run, the Great American Ballpark. The bench went absolutely wild, and the Cardinals,
so did the guys on it.
Oh man, it was great. Yeah, the bench was shaking too. They were trailing 9-3 and got 7 in the 9th off what was then a pretty good closer in Danny Graves.
Yeah. It doesn't happen often.
Nope.
Cardinals may have been ahead by 11 against Houston and lost the game. I don't remember, but I just remember Cardinal fans talking about that game.
And you remember you weren't a part of it.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Oh man.
If they were trailing. Here's a 1-2. 2-2.
Tell you again, a game I was a part of in Pittsburgh on July 4th, 1976. 200th anniversary of our country. I passed Gary Maddox at first base, and I was credited, that was the bases loaded, I was credited with a grand slam single. I was out and the other 3 runners scored. In Pittsburgh, we had an 8-0 lead, and Pittsburgh came back and scored 5 in the 5th off Carlton. I'm thinking, oh no.
Carpenter with a high fly ball into left. Cespedes with the catch, runners stay put.
I went in the dugout at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and Gary Maddox came and sat next to me, and he said, "You'll never forget me, will you?" And I said, "No, I won't," and I haven't.
Easy date to remember too.
Yeah. Came back to tag up. Ball was over the fence. I hit the bag and I'm going, yeah, no.
And I couldn't imagine you getting upset, Tim. That would shock me.
Well, actually, I was quite docile that day compared to what happened. Only time in my career that I passed a runner on the bases. But that was enough.
Oh, yeah. Here's Tommy Pham. You will see it occasionally. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. Cardinals trying to get anything going offensively. And the 0-1 pitch to Tommy Pham. Grounded out back in the first to short. Pham with a fly ball into left center. Cespedes makes the catch there. And he had to hustle to get to that ball.
I don't think he's going to be playing after this half inning. Almost overran that ball. He will be the 4th batter up in the top of the 3rd, or the bottom of the 3rd, I beg your pardon.
Dexter Fowler, 2-out walk back in the first inning. Runners at first and second. And a fastball taken high. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fowler hits it sharply to Reyes. Has to go across the diamond. And a strike to Duda. Cardinals trying to Mike Leake, 2 innings, 10 hits, 7 runs. 4 of the 7 were earned. Walked 1, no strikeouts through 53 pitches. So Brebbia is in. And it's been a while since we've seen him. This will be his first appearance since the All-Star break. Phillips 66. What's in the tank? Rosenthal, O, and Brebbia. Thinking of those right-handers.
Yeah, it's interesting, Dan, because in Pittsburgh, the Cardinals needed the short relievers to close games. They lost 2 of those games, or both games in Pittsburgh, on trouble by the Pirates in the 9th inning.
Yep. His shortest outing, if you're wondering, is an inning and 2/3. And tonight only 2 innings out of Mike Leake. Michael Conforto, top of the lineup for the Mets. Pops it up, left side. Jerko is over. Near his own dugout, playable, and makes the catch. Keys to the game, the relievers this series and this season against the Mets. That's pretty darn impressive right there. 12 innings, a 0 ERA.
Problem is, the bullpen has never been used with the Mets trailing 7-0 against the Mets.
Well, you try to piecemeal it together here to get through your innings and regroup tomorrow, but still long ways to go in this game.
Yeah.
Here's Cabrera. Single to center, scored in the first and reached on an error in the second and scored a run. I don't know about you, but I've been really impressed with Brebbia.
Yeah, I have too, especially against right-handers when he can use that slider.
Yeah.
That was it right there. It was not the type of slider that we were talking about, more of a hanger. That's a backup slider that we mentioned earlier. Yeah, John's done more than yeoman's work.
Really came from out of nowhere too. Here's a 1-2. Out of play. Is that a fastball we've seen in the mid-90s? As Tim mentioned, a good tight slider, especially against the right-handed batters.
The reason that pardon me, Dan. The reason that right-handed batters see a different slider from Brebbia, that's a slider that he likes to left-handers. It disappears down and in. But usually that's a volatile area for left-handed hitters. That ball down and in, easier to handle. So pitchers with sliders give varying moves of that slider to a left-hander.
2-2. Shallow right. Long makes the catch. As you said, this is a good one. Let's take a look. That one spun a little bit more than usually
it wasn't down and in.
Yeah. So with 2 outs and nobody on, the batter is Bruce. Cespedes did go to the clubhouse during the commercial break and now has moved to the on-deck circle. There's strike 1. Been talking about that Jay Bruce is one of the really good people in the sport today. He's been quite the philanthropist. He signed at an early age, got a big contract with Cincinnati. He's donated a lot of money, raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for children with disabilities. And it's a high fly ball out to left field, and the catch made by Pham. So a 1-2-3 inning for John Brebbia. Mets on top after 3. 30,000 fans, 16 and older. Take home a unique throwback jersey, replica 1919 pinstripe Cardinals jersey. Stay in your seats after the game. It's fireworks brought to you by Fabic Cat. That's coming up on Saturday, July 29th.
It's the year of the Black Sox scandal.
You bet. 1919.
8 men out.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yep.
Great actors.
John Cusack.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Popped up. Outfield grass. Cabrera, and he makes the catch. Kia in the driver's seat with Jacob deGrom. Whiff percentage against that fastball, it's the highest in the National League. So he throws hard, good movement, spots it. You know what? Pretty good combination.
Yeah, he's a tough out.
A couple of days ago, watching Jacob deGrom taking ground balls at shortstop. He pitched collegiately at Stetson University.
And played shortstop for Stetson.
The Stetson Hatters. Originally shortstop, then converted to a pitcher. Light hitting shortstop. Reported to school for his junior year. And the Hatters put him on the mound because of his arm strength. Went from middle relief to closer to starter. And the game that got him noticed by the scouts, he was pitching against Chris Sale. Chris Sale, a lot of the scouts were out to look at him, and all of a sudden they got the attention, deGrom did, of those scouts. Sale was pitching for Florida Gulf Coast University, and deGrom, ironically enough, hit his only home run of the year that day and pitched well. Ground ball and a base hit. Stetson, if you're wondering, is in Central Florida. They're in the Atlantic Sun Conference.
In St. Pete.
Enrollment of about 3,000 students. The Hatters of Stetson.
Didn't Chipper Jones' father coach there?
I think
Baseball
you're right.
coach?
Yeah.
And I think Chipper went there for a couple of years, I believe. Or he could have gone to that college right outside Jacksonville. I think it was 2 and 2. I think Chipper went there for 2 years. I could be wrong about that. You looked at me like I was.
well, I thought Chipper was straight out of high school.
Well, maybe, you know, he could have just gone to college.
Sure. These things do happen.
Go back to school for 1 semester.
That's what a lot of players do. If you're in that top rounds, one of the enticing ways to get a player to sign is to say, okay, here's your signing bonus. Oh, by the way, when you're done playing, we'll pay for your schooling too. Here's the 0-1 pitch. DeYoung fly to left first time up.
Chipper Jones is eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. And will make it on the first round unless something that we don't know happens.
I would think he's a lock.
I would too.
One of the great switch hitters ever in baseball history.
Absolutely.
And a strikeout. There's that good fastball at 95. Second strikeout for deGrom.
Yeah, with deGrom, he throws so hard, you try to make him get the ball down. Well located fastball from a guy who throws hard.
2014, deGrom the Rookie of the Year, and no Met had won the award in 30 years. 4 had ever done it. Tom Seaver, John Matlack, Darryl Strawberry, and Dwight Gooden. He's another one of these guys that has come back from Tommy John surgery. It was Frank Viola who said, you will be a big leaguer. Frank, an outstanding pitcher, lefty, works in the minor league system for the Mets. Was looking at a picture coming up the elevator of Tom Seaver, and you were talking about leg drive with DeGrom, or at least the reach. Seaver, ridiculous. The dirt on the right knee.
He used to wear a knee pad on his right knee. That's how low he got. And when you were facing Tom, he was a master at getting you in the hole by having you foul balls off. You had to make him get the ball down. Tom, terrific, was every bit of that here in New York.
1-2 pitch to Colton Wong. Out of play. Longtime broadcaster here with the Mets as well. Tom Seaver, now living in the Napa Valley area.
Lives right outside St. Helena, California.
One-two, base hit into right. So 2 hits in the inning. And it brings in Sierra.
Mets, the genesis of this franchise back in 1962. They lost more games than any team in the history of the game, 120, won only 40. Richie Ashburn was the most valuable player. Richie used to say, big deal. MVP of a team that lost more games than anybody. They gave him a boat, a fishing boat. He took it back to Tilden, Nebraska, and the first time out, the boat sank.
That sums it up.
Never to be retrieved. The boat for the MVP of a team that lost 120 games sank. That's bad.
Fly ball out to left. Cespedes. All those games lost, and oh, by the way, a boat that sinks. That sums up the first year of the Mets.
Horrible.
Where's the popcorn? There it is. 7-0. And we check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Matt Carpenter has an 8-game hitting streak and a 21-game on-base streak. Still, his batting average isn't where he wants it to be. Carpenter told me, I haven't put it all together this season. but it's going to come. I'm confident of that. Mike Matheny says Carpenter's batting average is a bit misleading. He told me this: there is a luck factor. We're learning that from analytics. When guys are hitting with a certain miles per hour off the bat, typically it leads to a certain amount of success. We have a few guys who have been on the short end of that, and that includes Matt. Dan?
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Carpenter, though, getting on base an awful lot. New battery for the Cardinals. Eric Fryer is behind the plate. Brebbia is on the mound. His second inning of work. Cespedes is at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. You're talking about Chipper Jones, and he had ridiculous numbers in his career against the Mets. So much so that he named one of his kids Shea.
Yep. His real name is Larry Wayne Jones, and they used to come up with the chant Larry, Larry at Shea Stadium, and that did not bother Chipper, believe me.
Oh no. Last night talking about 9/11 and the impact of baseball after the attacks on September 11th, as Cespedes hits a fly ball into right. The Mets came back to work September 17th. They were on the road in Pittsburgh. Then they returned home the 21st at Shea Stadium, and there was a 21-gun salute. Chipper Jones actually picked up a shell casing that he still has, and he says from that night it's one of my most proud mementos that I have of my career, being back playing baseball in New York in that shell casing that I'll never forget. With the
after 9/11,
right, in the first game back here at well, then Shea Stadium. Every member of the Mets donated a day's salary, so it was $440,000 to first responders, which not many people realize that the Mets and their 25-man staff did that. And it was a remarkable late inning home run that shook that place off the bat of Mike Piazza, and it's really one of the great home runs in the history of the Mets.
No question. History of the game.
Remember, Shea Stadium was used for a lot of people to get help, get medical care, supplies. There's that home run, September 21st, 2001.
That was Rudolph Giuliani, who was the mayor of New York at the time.
Bobby Cox said after the game, it was the first time in my managerial career I didn't mind losing. The strikeout of Lucas Duda.
Five in a row by Brebbia. John is scheduled to lead off the 5th inning. Be a pinch hitter for him.
Wilmer Flores at the plate. RBI single back in the first, and fly to shallow right with the bases loaded. Lines it to Sierra in right field. Brebbia 6 up and 6 down out of the Cardinals bullpen. We enter the 5th. It's 7-0. All right. Thank you, Scott. Here's Brebbia.
What a player Nolan Arenado is.
Oh, man.
What a player.
When it's all said and done, will he be talked about like a Brooks Robinson, Mike Schmidt?
I think he already is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Rowland.
Yep.
Brebbia, soft liner to third.
I would like to correct something that I said earlier. Chipper Jones did not attend Stetson University, so you look at me like I was wacko. Was correct.
It happens every, I don't know, after every other inning.
Stuff happens. Got to be understanding, partner. But his father was a coach at DeWitt High School outside Jacksonville, Florida. And Chipper attended the Bowles School after his freshman year in Jacksonville. My thanks to our staff for straightening me out.
You gave a lot of credit during the Open last night to Keith Olbermann. You want to continue that? Well, Keith Olbermann is Keith O'Brien's top assistant. Really? We've been saying that for years.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Nice play at third.
Wilmer Flores is a good ball player. Does not get a lot of at bats against right-handed pitching, but I'd take him in a minute. He's a good player.
Here's Tommy Pham. Pham is grounded out to short and also flied out to left. And a pitch in the dirt. Here's a 1-0 to Pham. Up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Three and 0. Mets may look back at this season and say what might have been. Healthy DeGrom the entire year. Matt Harvey, Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz.
Seth Lugo,
yep,
who's starting tomorrow afternoon.
As we've seen since the All-Star break, outside of tonight, the Cardinals starting pitching has been very good. And anytime you have good starting pitching, you got a chance to win. Deep in the hole, Reyes, long throw, and Pham beats it out. Biggest end of the summer party is coming up. Workplace wellness event of the year. The Biz Dash, Thursday, August 31st at Ballpark Village. Music, tailgate, food and drinks, and a 5K. Create your company team today. Visit STLBizDash.com, and it's brought to you by Fox Sports Midwest. Eduardo Perez, who's working on the ESPN feed tonight, we had the chance to visit, and he said, tell me about Tommy Pham. And I said, he will not take a pitch off. He busts it every single night.
He does that.
You appreciate guys. Hot night, middle of the season, getting into the dog days really of the season, and I mean, he just hustles every single play.
You said it in this series that he is hungry, and you'll take a guy who is hungry. He's hungry to get here in the big leagues and to stay here in the big leagues, and he's playing like it.
You appreciate it, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Fowler. I'm not sure if Tommy Pham has been talking to himself or if it's a conversation with Joe West. Either way, Joe West seems to be fairly entertained.
That's not my view of that.
What's your view?
Joe West looked about as indifferent as you can look.
And again, we're disagreeing.
Disagree is healthy, Dan. It's healthy.
Is. Like Joe's trying not to laugh, or what's going on here?
Well, Tommy does do that a lot.
2-2 the count.
Sometimes he talks to no one in particular.
Oh. Full count on Fowler. Pham off with his pitch. We'll have Joe West behind the plate tomorrow, and I know you feel that's always a treat.
You're being a rascal, Dan.
Fowler hits a fly ball out to deep left field. Cespedes is there and makes the catch. Cardinals strand a runner. They've left 6 on tonight. The BJC Healthcare difference maker. 61 complete games caught. That was the final out from last night, and Michael Wacha. Some changes, by the way, for the Cardinals. Luke Voit stays in the game at first base. Sierra is in center, and Jose Martinez is in right. I was thinking last night during that 9th inning about both managers, Terry Collins and Mike Matheny. Pitch count for Michael Wacha was at 119. He told Jim Hayes he had one more batter to get, and that was it. He was going to come out. We've talked about how careful and cautious the Cardinals have been with pitch counts and going deep into games, and really they treat Michael with kid gloves.
Yes,
because of the situation that he's had with his shoulder. And it made me think, from Mike Matheny to Terry Collins, about seeing the no-hitter thrown by Johan Santana. He threw 134 pitches, that no-hitter against St. Louis, as Sierra goes back and makes the catch off the bat of Reyes.
Obviously only no-hitter in Met history.
And I talked to Terry Collins about this start, and this was the game that he made history in. 9 innings, no hits, 134 pitches. Remember, he was coming off of shoulder issues. as he struck out David Freese. And the Mets had made history that night. And he said it's still one of the toughest games I've ever managed. I still have feelings both ways about it.
Yeah, I think Terry's being too tough on himself. I mean, any manager would have done that, I think.
I agree. And he said Santana, you know, really never was the same after that game. And the Mets had tried to be so cautious with him. But here you have a veteran that's been a Cy Young Award winner. He's done an awful lot in the game and now has a chance at that no-hitter. How do you take him out of the game? It's very, very
tough. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You let him pitch a no-hitter, or at least until a guy gets a hit. By the way, Juan Marichal pitched 16 innings against Warren Spahn, who pitched 16 innings in a 1-0 game, won on a home run by Willie Mays in the 16th inning at Candlestick. And Juan Marichal threw 234 pitches that night.
Wow.
100 more than Santana. I just don't buy it. I think it's brainwashing the game. I don't like it, and that's my case.
Glad I brought it up.
I am too. Gave me a chance to get angry again.
0-2 lifted out to left. Pham going back over his head, and one hops off the wall. First hit given up by Brebbia as he's pitching in his 3rd inning. Travis d'Arnaud with this double and his 2nd hit of the night.
The ball hit right at Tommy Pham, and like a center fielder, if a ball hit right at you is one of the tougher plays to make, and it is from all the center fielders whom I've taught. Same thing can be true if you're a left fielder. That ball hit right at him, could make the play.
1 out and a runner at 2nd. DeGrom hits it out of play. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen. Write down anything else you need to get off your chest, slide it over, and I'll bring it up.
Oh, I've got a mountain, a mountainous list of things. And about 60% of them are directed at you.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I can't wait for the cab ride home. Should be just a barrel of laughs.
Just kidding, partner.
I know.
You know that.
Having fun. 1-2 now on Jacob DeGrom. Swing and a miss.
Well,
Can't catch the games. Hold on, Tim.
All right.
I know you got a lot to say.
I'm ready to jump right in there.
Just hold on.
All right.
I got to read this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, if you can't catch the games on television, you can stream them live on your mobile device.
Nice
it's
voice.
Fox Sports Go.
Nice, very nice voice. Soften things.
Just trying to keep it nice and easy.
Trying to dance through the raindrops.
Download Fox Sports Go. And
well,
enjoy
the thing is, if you disagree with the metrics and all this stuff about pitch counts and, in my mind, nonsense that goes on today, I don't know when it started, but you're categorized as a purist. That you're an old timer, you're one of the purists, and you don't really know anything. You're relying on the same things that happened 50 years ago. Well, why not? Were arms different then? Huh? Hey, pop. Were they? 16 innings, Spahn and Marichal. 234 pitches by Marichal. Did his arm fall off after he pitched on the 5th day, I might add?
I'll ask you the question. Let's further the story. Why do you think we're seeing arm injuries today?
Well, not because they're pitching complete games. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're seeing arm injuries because they're being babied. They don't throw enough. I mean, pitching is an unusual athletic skill. That's all. I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. Again, write them all down, slide them over.
Most of the Tommy John, not most, but quite a few Tommy John surgeries are happening to high school students.
How about John Brebbia here tonight? 3 scoreless innings in relief of Mike Leake. Ah, darn it, it's a commercial break.
What's his pitch count?
Here tonight, 5 hits allowed. We're in the top of the 6th. Cardinals trailing 7-0. DeGrom and the rest of the starters, and just how important he is to this rotation.
He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and you say that, and that covers a wide swath.
Brings in Jed Jerko. Top of the 6th. Jerko is struck out and popped out. First pitch swinging, popped up. Cabrera under it and makes the catch. So Jed 0 for 3. And the batter will be Eric Fryer. We've talked about it a lot. One of the toughest roles in the game, the backup catcher to Yadier Molina. Fryer is 0 for his last 18.
There's a real scarcity in baseball, I think, because of that. Very tough to stay sharp. Eric does as much as he can along those routes, but when you don't play and you don't see big league pitching, it's tough enough when you're playing regularly.
Kevin Segrist is throwing in the Cardinals pen. And the 0-2. And he struck him out. Sunday, July 30th, kids 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive a Cardinals pocket t-shirt featuring Fredberg, courtesy of the Pasta House. And don't miss out. Get your tickets to the July 30th Cardinals Diamondbacks game. Cardinals.com/promotions.
Only time this year that Cardinal fans will have a chance to see the Diamondbacks, who are very much in the hunt in the National League West as probably a wild card, the way the Dodgers have been running off victories.
JD Martinez, first game as a Diamondback tonight, hit on the hand by a pitch.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, not sure of the severity of it. As DeYoung pops it foul, 0-2. DeGrom has struck out 3.
When things are going badly, you give up a couple of prospects to get a guy with 16 home runs from Detroit, and he gets hit in the hand in his first game.
Here's a 1-2. Reminder tomorrow, early start back home in St. Louis, 11:10 in the morning, 12:10 here on the East Coast.
You can have coffee with Jim and Dan and me.
It's like Wimbledon.
Yeah. Breakfast at Citi Field.
Just has a great ring to it.
No, it doesn't.
9-pitch inning for DeGrom, and it's 7-0. Breakfast at Citi. We move to the home half of the 6th at Citi Field in New York. T-Mobile unlimited baseball break. Todd Frazier traded to the Yankees. David Robertson as well. And then the update there on JD Martinez, who was hit on the hand and was having a very good year for the Detroit Tigers. First game with Arizona and hit on the hand. And I'm sure the post-game show will have all the news around the major leagues. It's a great shot. 19 years after taking the field with Derek Jeter. That's Todd Frazier, who's now a member of the Yankees. Love that picture. Kevin Segrist into the ballgame. He pitched in game 1 in his return to the major leagues. A scoreless 8th as he struck out the side. Walked the first man in the 9th and then was lifted. And it's our Chevy call to the pen. Very nice work by John Brebbie out of the Cardinals bullpen tonight. We tied Tyler Lyons. Longest scoreless relief outing by a Cardinal this year. Lyons has done that twice. '33rd appearance for Kevin Segrist. Well, we just saw that picture of a young Todd Frazier on the field at Yankee Stadium. Grew up on the East Coast, standing next to Derek Jeter as a kid. Base hit into right. Love that photo. I've seen it before, but now he's a member of the Yankees.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's wonderful. Those that maybe were just coming back to their television, there it is, a young Todd Frazier next to Derek Jeter.
That's very nice.
Jay Bruce. RBI base hit, run scored in the second. I'm sure with all your national TV work and so many games with the Yankees involved, postseason and regular season, you got to know Derek Jeter a little bit.
A little bit.
Pretty guarded, but
pretty guarded.
But you were around him all the time.
Yeah, we were more than casual acquaintances. We were certainly friendly. I wouldn't say friends. Derek Jeter handled the New York media about as well as anybody can be handled. And he gave the media absolutely nothing with which to run with which to run. Nothing.
There's an 0-2 pitch. Curveball and a good one. See that curveball against lefties from Kevin Segrist.
And I don't say that in an arrogant fashion, because Derek was anything but arrogant, never arrogant. He just understood the media and realized what triggered bad ink and bad press. Very smart man. Derek and his wife pregnant with their first child.
Yeah. About a month and a half ago, had his number retired at Yankee Stadium.
Numero dos.
Here's Cespedes. Curveball. And it's taken for a ball outside. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Cespedes is in year 1, 4-year contract that'll pay him $110 million. The 2-0.
That figures out at $27.5 a year, right?
Yep. A lot of cash.
You know, a lot of people don't remember, but from 1945 to 1967, the players' minimum in the major leagues was the same every single year. 22 years, $6,000 a year. From 1945, the end of World War II, to 1967, more or less the beginning of Vietnam. So that's a long span, 22 years, until the likes of Marvin Miller, a brilliant union organizer, was voted in by the players reluctantly as the man to lead them over the next several decades. Bob Cannon, a judge in Milwaukee, was originally slated to do that, what Miller was about to do. And he said the major office should be in Chicago, which was close to his home. The players said, no, we want it in New York City. That's why Miller was hired. And for Marvin Miller not to be in the Hall of Fame is one of the great travesties of American sports. in my opinion.
How about Curt Flood?
Likewise. He's the second most tragic figure not to be in the Hall. First year of free agency was 1976 on an arbitrator's decision. Arbitrator's name was Peter Seitz, S-E-I-T-Z. And if you want a real good book to read, and to read about why players are making what they're making now, read Marvin Miller's biography. It's fabulous.
1 ball and 1 strike. How close were you to Curt Flood?
Very.
I know he and Bob Gibson were roommates for a number of years.
Yes. Curt was close to everybody, in fairness. It wasn't just 2 of us. I mean, Curt was a very caring teammate and ultimately a very caring player that you could make a case that was looking out for all of
Everybody,
baseball,
yeah.
for everybody, not just his teammates, but other teams' teammates. And I was in the trade with Curt, along with Byron Brown and Joe Horner, for Dick Allen, Cookie Rojas, and Jerry Johnson, a short reliever. And Curt made the move, and the rest is history.
Fans 16 and older can take home a replica of the 1967 World Series trophy. Stands at 6.5 inches tall. Item you do not want to miss out on. That's July 28th. Diamondbacks in town. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
You know what? With a 7-run lead, it's easier to hit in a game like this if you're the Cardinals, because you get more predictable pitches. First pitch was a curve. No way is this going to be a curveball. And it was a curveball. Some analyst. Get me out of here.
No way this is a curveball.
Change
up.
up.
What a play. Cabrera.
Look at this.
A terrific play to rob Colton Wong.
Took a terrific play to get me off the hook. Get the hook out. Change up and a beauty. A barehanded play by Cabrera. I mean, there were times in this game, Cabrera with big hands, as he showed there, had Colton Wong by about a half a stride. But there was a time when nobody made that play, Dan. It was a very unusual play, and now it seems like guys practice it and they're ready for it now.
How about the play the other night by Jed Jerko?
Oh, such a small hand. I asked him after the game. We were in the clubhouse. I said, Jed, can I see your hand? And the reason I want to see it, see how big it was to make that play. He made a terrific play off the cutout on the left side, and he has the smallest hands, but yet Jed made the play. Here it is one more time. This is in game one. Watch. He has a very small hand. That was a bare hand on the short hop, for crying out loud.
Here's a 1-2. Watch him fly. Reyes barehanded and no chance. Sierra beats it out.
Yeah, you can understand how Cabrera made his play, but not Reyes with Sierra running.
No chance.
Forget it.
Greg Garcia, first pinch hitting appearance of the second half. Playing behind Sierra at first base. Now Duda moving in front of Sierra. And a double play ball potentially. 6-4. Oh! We'll say it's an out at second.
I'll tell you, I would stay there if I'm Sierra. I'm not too sure that was a throwing position. Now the Cardinals are trailing by 7. Why not challenge it? You got to have a grasp of the ball at second base. I'm not sure he was in the act of throwing then. That ball came out of the glove and the hand was already out. I challenge that. What do you have to? What do you have to lose?
Nothing to lose.
Right.
Here's Luke Voigt. Something to think about. I don't know where you stand with this, but the first pitch to Garcia, Duda was playing behind Sierra. I get it, it's late, 7th inning, 7-run lead, but
why not take advantage of it if they're going to give you the base?
Yeah.
And when a guy plays behind, that's the reason for that. They're giving you second base, so why not take it? That's certainly a point, Danny.
Two-one pitch. 2-2. What's on tap presented by Budweiser, on the air tomorrow at 10:30 St. Louis time. Lance Lynn, Seth Lugo. Lugo 4-2. Lynn is 8-6. Will come your way at 10:30. Pitch number 108 of the night. Foul tip. Boyd is saying it hit the ground.
It looked to me like it hit the ground. Now Mike Matheny, I don't think you asked Joe West.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's clear. It's a no-brainer. Luke Voigt hit the ball into the ground and then the glove. Darno tried to sell it, of course. It's his job. Fish ain't biting.
Ray Garcia, the runner at first base, the 2-2 pitch. 3-2, and now Greg off with the next pitch. Well hit out to left. Cespedes looks up and it lines off the wall. My goodness. Boy, safe at second. And Garcia scores. They get him at second base. That run doesn't score.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He hit that so hard.
I was looking at the ball and I'm thinking, well, that's an easy double. But it was not an easy double. It took an errant throw to second base for Voigt to make it to second.
Well, he hammered that pitch.
Hit it very hard. Luke is not a fast runner. Bounced off the fence, and that throw by Cespedes. Number one, Cabrera's not on the bag.
He's thrown out before he scores. No run.
You're right.
And looking at the play from up here, he was just getting maybe to right around the batter's box. I'd say 5 feet up that portion of the line towards third when they were getting the ball at second base. Nice round of applause. Chevy called to the pen. By Thrive-In Financial. And that Sunday, July 30th, the featured post-game speaker Lance Berkman, the former Cardinals All-Star and World Champion of 2011. For tickets, visit cardinals.com/Christian Day. Here's Tommy Pham with a runner at second. Cardinals get on the board with the RBI by Voit. Tommy, an infield hit. He's 1 for 3. Paul Sewald is the new pitcher.
Talked about it the other night. Ron Darling helping us out with some of the relievers of the Mets, saying that Sewald, more than any other reliever, was fearless. That's a great compliment.
Oh yeah.
To pay, particularly from a former pitcher, and a good one, as Darling was.
Oh, 0-2 the count with 2 outs and a runner at second. Outside corner, struck him out. Cardinals get the RBI double by Voit, and it's 7-1. Join the Cardinals and Edward Jones congratulating Mark McGwire, Tim McCarver, and Pepper Martin. Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Fox Sports Midwest Live, Ballpark Village, August 26th. That's at 2. Learn more at cardinals.com/HOF. There's Sam Tuivalalov. Here's Wilmer Flores. And the first pitch is hit out of play. And we're underway here in the home half of the 7th. It'll be a very special day coming up August 26th. That is open to the public at Ballpark Village. The Cardinals Hall of Fame. So well deserved, partner. Here's the 0-1.
I'm sure Mark feels the same way, but it is so personal to be feted by the organization, from my standpoint, with whom I started almost 60 years ago.
By the way,
come full circle.
Oh, you have, and then some. don't know if you saw this, but Keith Hernandez was really stirring it up on the pregame show.
Yes, he was. I saw that.
Jim asked him, are you upset that Tim knocked you out of the Hall of Fame? Tim got voted in, and Keith, you're not in.
I thought those were very interesting questions from Jim to spawn those types of answers.
Tonight, our State Farm perfect pair, and it's been the relief corps thus far of the Cardinals, Rabia and Segrist. Games like this, we can talk a little bit more about Jim. He does a terrific job, really does.
Yes, he does. I'm only kidding, Jim. Kind of.
The switch hitting Reyes over 1. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Check that, Reyes 2 for 3. Couple of singles tonight. One-two pitch, slapped foul.
Perfect description, slap foul. Sometimes guys swing at balls and it goes foul, but that was accurately described.
And a strikeout for Tuivailala. This has been the pitch that has really improved this year. Curveball for Sam Tuivailala.
That was a beauty there. Just disappeared on Reyes.
StubHub, your ticket out to once-in-a-lifetime experiences, Cardinal games to concerts, shows you don't want to miss. Get it all at StubHub. After the game tomorrow, we will be in Chicago. Very important series for both the Cubs and Cardinals.
Cubs will be riding a 6-game winning streak, and the Cardinals will have won, unless they can come from behind in this one, they will have won 3 out of their last 4.
Carlos Martinez in game 1 against Jake Arrieta, so they pushed back Quintana. He'll go in game 2.
Oh, is that right?
Against Wainwright, and then Michael Wacha and John Lester Sunday night. Two of the first 3 games on Fox Sports Midwest in a tight Central Division.
That's the one thing about the Cubs. They can guarantee a Friday afternoon game. No other team in baseball can guarantee that.
It will be rocket in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
School is not back, so a lot of Cardinal fans planning on making that trip to the Windy City.
Equal shades of red and blue.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to d'Arnaud. Good pitch, running in on his hands. And Sam has got that very good fastball, and then with that type of movement going in on a right-hander, tough to hit. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Thing you miss, Sam throws hard.
Oh, yeah.
You can get it up to 80, 98 miles an hour. That curve, there it was.
De Jong gloves and makes the play. Sends us to the 8th. And it's 7-1 New York. That would be for Arizona. Only a contusion, not a break, fracture, whatever you want to call it. But keep him in the lineup. Jose Martinez. First pitch, a strike.
Because the hand's such a vital part of hitting, you're holding the bat a whole bit. If it's not broken, it could be, you know, the contusion depends on how deep it is.
Yeah. Sewald in his second inning of work. Our crowd tonight, 32,228 here at Citi Field, 3-2-2-2-8. Here's a 1-1. You know, sometimes you say in baseball, boy, the guy at the plate, he's quiet. Meaning not a lot of movement.
No, Jose's anything but
right.
Jose, you will not say that about him.
Wiggling the bat.
More movement than a Swiss watch.
3-1. And a leadoff walk. Nissan drive of the game off the bat of Luke Voigt. 7th inning. Off the wall and left. And an RBI double. Scoring Greg Garcia, the Nissan drive of the game. There's Jed Jerko, hitless tonight, 0 for 3.
Sewald makes it very tough on right-handed hitters. He drops down just enough. There's that tailing fastball inside and a Pretty good slider away.
You know, when you tell me I give you weird looks every once in a while.
Yes.
When I tell people that I loved Shea Stadium, I get a lot of weird looks.
Well, you should.
I might be the only guy that likes Shea. I loved it.
Well, that warrants weird looks.
What are you going to do to Mike, who's up here and running the cameras?
He gets a weird look too.
That
The
place
whole
would
booth.
rock.
Bob gets one. Bob liked it. He gets a weird look. Anthony?
I'd give Bob a weird look anyway.
I give Bob many weird looks during the game for a lot of different reasons. That's our crew here at Citi Field, and a bunch of great guys who do a great job.
Into right. Jay Bruce makes the catch. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of your favorite Peanuts character, Charlie Brown, Thursday, July 27th. Fans purchasing a special themed ticket receive their own exclusive Charlie Brown bobblehead. Tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Shea would literally move. You'd be in the booth.
I know.
And it would
That's why you got to be nuts to like it. The thing moved all the time, which meant it was unstable.
It wasn't going anywhere.
I know it wasn't going anywhere. It never went anywhere, but it was moving under your feet.
It was great. Rocking. Atmosphere. Loud.
I like concrete, not wood, under my feet. Just a personal preference.
Jim Hayes has told me before that he felt Shea had a unique smell.
Well,
and he's right about that too.
The planes had an interesting pattern also. They flew right through the booths.
Now it did feel like that. I'll give you that. Dirty, grimy, old. Yeah, it had a little stench to it. So what?
Let me tell you, out with the old, in with the new.
I'm not saying I don't like this ballpark. I like this ballpark.
Yeah, I do too. Get you checked.
2-2 on Fryer. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals.
In the year 2000, the New York Yankees came to Shea Stadium to play a maximum of 3 games against the Mets. And George Steinbrenner, it had rained the night before, and it rained to the point where it flooded part of the visiting clubhouse, and George had everything removed. Everything. Had new furniture put in, the whole bit. There was a twofold purpose for that. The Yankees do it first class and mush in the face of the Mets, and we need, and he was right in doing that. That's the first time that dressing room was redecorated since 1964, and I'm serious.
Since the Beatles were there.
In '65.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was for 35 years.
Wow.
Shea was the same. And George came in and put new furniture. He was in your face to the Mets, which always goes on, particularly when George was alive.
Mets beat the Cardinals in the NLCS of 2000 and then went to the World Series against the Yankees.
Yep. Only time they have met. Not the first time 2 New York teams have met, but that the Mets and the Yankees had met in the World Series. Famous Mike Piazza breaking the bat.
Oh yeah.
And Roger Clemens throwing a speared object.
What did you say about that? You're doing the game.
Doing the game with Joe Buck.
Yeah.
What else are you going to say? I
Well,
mean,
did you think
Clemens was clearly wrong. The guy threw, the bat went toward the pitcher, and he threw the bat at Piazza. There's only one thing to say. And then I was working for the Yankees at the time. I think I've told you this story. I don't know if I've ever told it on the air. And about the 4th inning, I made a comment that sometimes crowds are tough to read, but it seems to me that the crowd here at Yankee Stadium are embarrassed for what Roger Clemens did. Whew. You think George didn't hammer me?
A little unhappy, huh?
He also, by the way, locked the doors to the way I came out of it.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. He locked the doors and I had to go down the ramp amongst them where some different words choice words were thrown at me and Joe on our way down.
I could imagine.
You should imagine.
That'll be it for Sewald and a lefty coming in.
So I can't say the 2000 series was a real work of joy for me.
Doesn't sound like it. 7-1 here in the 8th. th appearance of the year. Lefty in to face Colton Wong. Runners at first and second. That's a base hit into right. Martinez held up at third. Well, the two lefties coming up, it made sense. Blevins gives up the hit to Colton Wong, and now it's Sierra. You know, you talked to Lloyd Carroll, got a breakdown on Blevins against lefties.
Yep. But he threw two curveballs in a row. Colton Wong took the first one. Lloyd Carroll, a writer. Writer here in New York. You know, the Cardinals are just a hit away from cutting the score in half. And they have had problems with their bullpen.
Here's a 1-0 to Sierra. Sierra, base hit into center. One run is in. Here comes another. All of a sudden, this game gets a little interesting for the Cardinals. Now 7-3.
Well, it's not cut in half, but one more base hit. And it is. Levens comes in, gives a single to Colton Wong. And a single to Magneuris Sierra, his second hit of the night.
The Cardinals have used all their position players, so Adam Wainwright will pinch hit.
He's done that before.
Oh, yeah. Wainwright with 10 RBIs, at 16 as a pitcher last year, most by a pitcher. 2-year stretch since the Padres' Tim Lawler. And on Monday night, he picked up win number 145.
This is a fascinating statistic given to us by Steve Hurd of the Elias Sports Bureau, who does remarkable work. Remarkable work. Adam Wainwright has 28 RBIs over the last 2 years. Last year and this year, of course, we're not even to August yet. The last pitcher to have 28 RBIs over 2 seasons was an ex-Cardinal, folks. Guess who? Steve Carlton. 1977 and 1978 had 28 RBIs, and all of Carlton's RBIs were in the role of pitching. Wainwright did have 2 as a pinch hitter last year. That's pretty good stuff, isn't it? Steve in our booth before the game tonight. So Adam Wainwright trying to add on to that total.
1-2 the count. Runners at first and second.
Don't think he can't take you deep.
No question. Ooh.
Adam and the Cardinals got away with, well, I don't know, it was outside. You know, Darno caught it in the strike zone, but when it went over the plate, it didn't go over the plate. It was outside.
The 2-2. Low. Runners off with this pitch. Good speed out there, Sierra and Wong. There they go. Fouled back.
Or a good cut right there by Adam.
Trying to extend the inning to Luke Voigt. Get a base hit. You got a power man coming up and a chance to tie it.
Yep.
3-2 pitch. That's the risk you run when you only carry 4 position players on your bench.
Yep.
Extend your bullpen, and then you start making changes early in a game. Sometimes it happens like this, sometimes it doesn't. You got Wainwright at the plate. Wainwright draws the walk, and the tying run will come to the plate. With a guy that in one swing could tie this up easily. Power hitter Luke Voit.
And there's no way that Terry Collins is going to allow the left-hander to pitch to Voit. Now we have to have a pinch runner.
That'll be Matt Bowman.
Matt Bowman, who's going to be in the game anyway, right?
And the Mets, after that 8-pitch at bat to Wainwright, have to go to Addison Reed maybe a little bit earlier than they wanted to.
Yeah, a little bit too close for comfort.
Four-out save this year. That was back on July 1st. Familia, they're not expecting him back until late August, September. Jerry's Familia, the outstanding closer of the Mets. So it's Addison Reed. Bases are loaded here for Luke Voit, who's already put one off the wall.
Reed, a hard thrower with a good slider.
Oof. Voit a double back in the 7th, off the wall and left. It scored Garcia. Magnera Sierra base it into center, that scored 2. Oh, 0-2 the count.
Had 2 good cuts against Reed. Okay, the Cardinals and Cardinal fans enjoyed the celebration last night. Michael Wacha with his first complete game as a pro, 5-0 shutout. If Voit hits a home run here, you're going to see an explosion as a celebration in the Cardinal dugout.
There's that slider hit out of play. Oh, 0-2 the count.
That was one of those show me fastballs down and in. He'll go back outside with the slider. keeps those big, strong guys away. If they beat you, it's going to have to be to the opposite field.
Got him. Strikeout of Voit. Step on home plate for the force. And the threat is through. Cardinals pick up a couple of the runs. 7-3 midway through 8. Is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Remember, we earlier this year took the train to the Bronx. The Cardinals took on the Yankees. Really a smooth experience with you, partner.
You still talk about that. That's a New York experience. The subways.
I
Come
know
on.
it is.
First time I took a New York subway was to the World's Fair going to Shea in 1964. The Blue Line. The 7 train, I'm being told. Not the Blue Line.
There's T.J. Rivera. Seung-Hwan Oh is on the mound, and a fly ball lifted out to deep right. Martinez going back and makes the catch. But a tough year at times for O. 4.17 ERA. And where it's been tough, the lefties. 363 the average, and the 7 home runs of the 8 he's allowed against left-handed batters. You get a tough one here in Michael Conforto. 1 out and nobody on. If the Cardinals would tie this game up, it'd be very interesting what Mike Matheny would have to do to shuffle up his roster and his lineup.
Yeah. Yep.
He's used Bowman as a pinch runner. Joey Valala is pitched. Brebbia pop up into shallow left. Tommy Pham. Kevin Segras pitched. Oh, now in the game, and you're out of position players. Mike would love to get there and try to figure it all out. With 2 outs, it brings in Cabrera.
There are 3 Cardinal pitchers available should they tie. Brett Cecil, Tyler Lyons, and Trevor Rosenthal.
Cardinals will have Pham, Martinez, and Jerko coming up, looking at to the top of the 9th. Line drive into center. Sierra won't make that play. And a 2-out base hit. Cabrera on base for the 4th time tonight. 3 singles, reached on an error.
You're in the 9th inning, Danny, and you look back at that 2nd inning, and it was not an insignificant inning, because had Jerko's throw been fielded by either DeYoung or Colton Wong, you're trailing 3-0 at the time, but you don't know how that inning goes. Get out of that inning with no runs, or maybe 1 run, it's a tie game.
Yeah.
You know, because the Mets have not scored since then.
Leake gave up 7 runs in 2 innings. 4 of the 7 were earned. And a ground ball hit to Colton Wong. And the Mets are through here in the bottom of the 8th. Jump ahead to the 9th. It's 7-3. Pham leads it off against Addison Reed. Reed got the final out in the top of the 8th. Reminder, on the air early tomorrow at 10:30. St. Louis time with the pregame show. Out of play. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on Tommy Pham. Out of play again. And Pham lifts a high fly ball out to left. Cespedes under it. Jose Martinez with 1 out. Here's the 0-1. One ball and one strike. Out of play. It's actually now no balls and 2 strikes. Reed to Martinez. And he got him. Strikeout of Martinez. Take a look at our Budweiser player of the game, Jacob deGrom. 6 2/3, 7 hits, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 1, struck out 3 in 110 pitches. Jed Jerko, first pitch swinging, fouled back. He struck out. He's popped out twice to second, also flied out to right. Final hope here for the Cardinals trying to extend this game. Hits it up the middle and a base hit. Brings in Eric Fryer. Terry Collins telling Lucas Duda to play behind the runner at first base, it looked like. It's now Rivera took over at first base. So 2 outs and a runner at first. And a broken back ground ball hit to second. This should do it. The Mets take game 3. And it's off to the post-game show. Nice work by Addison Reed to get the final 4 outs for the Mets. 7-3 the final. Tough night for Mike Leake. And it's off to the post-game show. Mets win game 3. Cardinals did have the tying run at the plate. Made it interesting late. Post-game next.